If I told you I had a story about an 80-year-old man who wanted to fly his own plane into a field near his own town in County Cavan, you'd tell me I was having you on. But I'm not. It's a real story. It's one of the most uplifting stories I think I've ever heard. The story was made into a documentary called The Man Who Wanted to Fly.
All his life, 80-year-old Bobby Coote has wanted to fly a plane.
Cinematographer Dave Perry flies paramotors as a hobby. He told his colleague, director Frank Shouldice, how 80-year-old Bobby Coote had seen him flying, followed him home, and knocked on the door.
And Bobby said to him, he says, "Was that you up there in the sky flying?" And Dave says, "Yeah," wondering, is this a farmer whose cattle I've bothered or something? And he said, "It was, yeah, why? Is everything okay?" And Bobby says, "I want to do that." And so began the story.
A roller coaster adventure, though, it must have been for you, because and these are people who live life at their own speed and have lived that life for 80 years. How hard was it as a documentary maker to make this work?
I think what you say, that these were people who live at their own pace, that was actually the key, because right from the outset, for me, the imperative was that we enter their world for the next, whatever it was going to be, hour and a half or whatever, that we would enter their world at their pace. And what actually came about with this was that often if I went down and I said, right, there's three things we want to do today, three scenes I want to work on or get more on, and you'd soon be disabused of that notion.
Part of that dynamic is the relationship between older brother Ernie Coote, an electronics wizard, and his younger brother Bobby. Bobby is an eccentric genius who mends old clocks and makes fiddles out of discarded furniture, and he wants to fly. Ernie believes Bobby should keep his feet on the ground.
Well, you see, the dream doesn't match his age.
I had this idea, Mike, that Ernie was into CB radios, and in their later years, Ernie has slowed up quite a bit, whereas Bobby, it defies everything. You see this 80-year-old man hopping over a fence, climbing over it, clambering over it because he saw a piece of wood that he thought he could make a violin out of, and it just fired him. He forgot everything and just went for it. We've been absolutely thrilled with the reaction around the world, actually, and I do feel it's a universal story.
I'm just delighted at 83 I can still hopefully be gamey like Bobby was when he noticed that chick going down the main street. Fair dues, Bob.
I want to buy a microlight.
Extraordinary. A tremendous example of determination, and just don't let age get in your way.
I thought it was stunning. The cinematography was amazing, and the determination, never give up on your dream, was fabulous.
Something that pervades the whole thing is a sense of community and a sense of people helping each other for no reason other than they want to. Actually, that's where the whole Newton-Ards connection came in, because Bobby, in a sense, he lost his way in his dream. He got discouraged, and perfectly understandable, and anyone who's seen the film will understand that. And it needed helping hands, and in a sense, so did the film.
In that spirit of community helpfulness, Bobby got a runway in a field from neighbour Sean, plus a shed to turn into a hangar. Then he used his savings to buy a microlight. To get both Microlight and Bobby ready to take to the air, he needed more expert help. That came from the Ulster Flying Club in Newton-Ards, initially in the shape of William McMinn, Airworthiness Inspector, and colleague Joe McIver. But was it hard to get the plane ready to fly?
No, because circumstances, which I'm not going into, but Joe got involved with it, Joe McIver, and Joe's loads of experience working on them, and he had plenty of free time, so he done all the work and I just kept a careful eye on it. which you do, and he got the plane back into flying condition. And it was done at a fairly reasonable pace and without too much expense.
So Bobby's microlight was going to be okay to fly, but what about Bobby himself? Did pilot instructor Jerry Snodden think it would be possible to teach a man in his 80s how to fly?
Obviously at that age it's quite a handful, and I thought between his age and my age it was going to be a handful. The people who were making the film were very, very good. They had to get all sorts of permission from the Irish Aviation Authority and the Ulster Flying Club about when they could fly and when they couldn't fly. And then I had to think, you know, would he be coming often enough to go on his own? And was his attention span good? Was he physically fit? So we had to think about doctors and so on. So we had to go and get a doctor's permission, which he would have an ECG, etc. And it's quite hard enough, you know, for someone at that age. And he came up and I met him here. We had a chat for half an hour or so. He hadn't done any flying whatsoever in his previous life, as it were. And the two of us went out, had a pleasure flight first, and he was comfortable enough in the environment.
It's grand to be comfortable in the back seat, and much, much harder though to fly all the way from Newtownards to Ballyborough, County Cavan. The film was 5.5 years in the making. Did director Frank Shouldice ever think it might not be finished?
It did cross my mind. I always thought we'd get to a finish, but it was just what would the finish be? And so you have a man with a dream, and did the fulfillment of the dream, was that the only way this film could end? And if he didn't fulfill the dream, would it kind of cast a shadow on the whole film, or on the spirit of the film? Even though I don't think that failing in your ambitions is often is the noble pursuit is enough, but maybe in a film you need something to lift it in that way at the end.
Where now for The Man Who Wanted to Fly, the film, the man himself, and the maker of the movie?
It just feels to me that there are still so many places it could go, because the BBC screening is in Northern Ireland. I don't think it's in England and Scotland, Wales, you know, and why not? It's this is universal stuff, and it's just that every time a door opens and there's a new audience, people are connecting with it, and so maybe, you know, I think it'll endure. For Bobby, we stay in contact with the two boys. Ernie has slowed down quite a bit. He's mid-80s now, but and Bobby is indestructible.
If you want to see this amazing, uplifting documentary, it's still available on BBC iPlayer. Check for details. Failing that, you can always watch it on Amazon. But what I would suggest you do is make sure you watch it. It'll make your day.